Welcome to this explainer on the martial art of partnership. Today, we're unpacking a highly intense, incredibly fast-moving relational dynamic, Mars in the 7th house. If you've ever felt like love is a literal battlefield, well, you're absolutely in the right place. Let's break down exactly why this placement brings so much heat, and more importantly, how to master it.
Okay, let's dive right into this big question. Why do passion and conflict always seem so intricately intertwined? Have you ever noticed that the relationships that make you feel the absolute most alive, the ones that wake you up and really get your blood pumping, somehow escalate into conflict incredibly fast? It's kind of a wild paradox, right? We crave the heat, but man, we get burned by the fire. With Mars in the 7th house, relationships become intense very quickly. And that massive attraction, it's pretty much always riding shotgun with equally massive disagreements.
To understand why this happens, we have to start at the very beginning. Section 1. The spark of attraction.
Here's the deal. You are highly likely to attract partners who are deeply independent, super assertive, and basically unwilling to be controlled in any way. An overly compliant partner? No way. They would absolutely bore you to tears. You aren't looking for just a passive companion to sit quietly on the couch with. You actively want someone who will, argue with you over what to have for dinner, because that friction is what makes you feel truly alive. You need someone who can hold their own in the ring with you.
Which brings us right to Section 2, the inevitable power struggle, because that magnetic independence definitely leads to a massive clash of wills.
And here is the core duality of it all. The exact same energy making your romantic life deeply, thrillingly passionate is the exact same energy fueling your arguments. You really can't have one without the other in this dynamic. They are quite literally two sides of the exact same coin.
Now, because of that intensely competitive energy, we hit a massive roadblock. Compromise feels incredibly difficult. Actually, scratch that, it feels almost impossible. You've got two highly assertive people standing face to face, and neither side wants to surrender their position completely. Giving in feels like losing, and let's be real, losing is simply not in the vocabulary of Mars. So you get this fast-paced, highly energetic frustration. You're constantly circling each other, pushing for your own way, refusing to back down, and the relationship can easily stall out right here in this high-tension gridlock.
And that leads us to Section 3, the cost of competition. We really need to look at the explosive cost of this specific dynamic.
Okay, so this acts exactly like a pressure cooker. First up, you avoid communication because, well, you don't want to trigger yet another massive argument. Second, because you aren't talking, you start hiding your frustrations. You push them down deep. But here's the catch. That assertive energy doesn't just evaporate. No, it builds and it builds and builds until you hit step 3, a sudden, dramatic eruption. By trying to sidestep a minor skirmish, you've basically guaranteed an all-out war.
So take a deep breath for a second and really ask yourself this. Are you viewing your relationship as a contest to be won rather than an experience to be shared? Think about it. Are you secretly keeping score? Are you treating your partner as an opponent you need to defeat in an argument rather than a teammate to experience life with? This is the massive mindset shift that absolutely has to happen. Because if you're constantly trying to win, it fundamentally means your partner has to lose. And if your partner is losing, the whole relationship is losing.
All right, let's move into Section 4, forging growth through partnership. This is where the relationship transforms into a personal catalyst.
A long-term partnership with this placement acts as the ultimate training ground. It's a wildly powerful catalyst for personal growth because it absolutely forces you to confront yourself. It forces you to look at your own anger, deal with your impatience, and it puts a giant, unavoidable mirror right up to your ego. You can't just point fingers and blame your assertive partner forever. You have to look at how your own drive to lead, your own need for control is creating the friction. The relationship essentially becomes a dojo, a space where you finally learn to master your own impulses.
And that perfectly sets up Section 5, finding a common purpose. This is where you unlock true mastery.
Here is the whole secret to Mars in the 7th house. Listen closely, because true relational strength does not come from defeating the other person. That's a totally false victory. Real strength comes from taking all of that incredible passion, all that raw courage, and that fierce determination, and directing it together toward a common purpose. It's like taking two fierce warriors, and instead of having them face each other inside the ring, you have them stand shoulder to shoulder, facing the world together.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to ponder about your own life. Look at the relationships you have right now.
especially the intense ones, the ones that really challenge you. Are you fighting against your partner, wasting all of that brilliant, fiery energy on internal power struggles? Or are you fighting alongside them, using your combined passion to conquer life together? The martial art of partnership isn't about learning how to strike your partner. It's about learning how to move together as one totally unstoppable force. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next explainer.